Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to take you on a gentle journey, a journey through the most tender corners of the human heart. Imagine for a moment the soft, fragrant breeze of spring. It touches your skin with warmth, revives the faded petals of nature, and carries with it the sweet promise of renewal. Love, in its purest form, is much the same. It doesn't shout to announce its arrival, it whispers its presence. It doesn't force its way in. Its entity because unbarren, it's gently force nourished. It comes in a shudder. Glorio, Juria. Love in its most authentic form does not shout to make its presence known. It doesn't crash into our lives like a storm or demand immediate attention. Instead, it enters quietly, gently, like a spring breeze that dances through the leaves, bringing with it a soft whisper of change. This kind of love is not about overwhelming emotions or extravagant expressions. It is about the subtle sensations, the quiet gestures, and the unspoken connections that slowly weave their way into our hearts. It is in the moments when someone holds your hand in silence, sits beside you without needing to say a word, or looks at you with understanding that needs no explanation. When we think of love, we often imagine passion, drama, and intensity. But true love doesn't need theatrics. It reveals itself through consistency, through its quiet endurance. The gentleness of love is its strength, for it understands when to step forward and when to stand back. Just like a breeze that cools a warm afternoon or rustles through a room to refresh it, love brings comfort without disruption. Its power lies in how effortlessly it integrates into our lives, without force or pressure, becoming a natural part of our emotional landscape. The unobtrusiveness of love means that it respects boundaries and honors individuality. It does not suffocate, demand change, or impose itself. Rather, it flows around the other person, supporting and uplifting them without expecting something in return. In a world where relationships can often be transactional or demanding, love that expects nothing but offers everything is a rare gift. It shows up in ways that are sometimes so quiet that we only notice its importance in its absence. Like the breeze, we forget to appreciate until the day turns unbearably still. Moreover, gentle love builds trust over time. Because it doesn't rush, pressure, or manipulate, it creates a safe space for vulnerability. It allows people to be themselves, flaws and all, and still feel valued. This type of love fosters emotional intimacy that isn't driven by urgency or fear of loss, but by a steady, unwavering presence. It is the kind of love that stands the test of time. Maybe listen to the list of tasks, respect, and a calm, nurturing spirit. Love has an incredible power to bring transformation in the lives of those who experience it. Just like spring gently replaces the harshness of winter with warmth and color, Love melts the emotional coldness we often carry inside us. It softens our rigid thoughts, calms our restless spirits, and brings light to places within us that have long remained in shadow. Love doesn't necessarily change our surroundings, but it changes the way we see the world. Through love, we begin to notice beauty where we once saw dullness, hope where we once felt despair, and possibility where we once believed there was none. When someone experiences real love, be it romantic, familial, or platonic, there is a noticeable shift in their demeanor. They start smiling more often, carrying themselves with a certain ease and radiating a peaceful energy that wasn't present before. This change doesn't come from superficial happiness, but from an internal renewal of the soul. Love brings with it a sense of purpose and meaning that refreshes the spirit. It teaches us to feel deeply again, to open our hearts to connection, and to risk vulnerability for the chance of something profound and lasting. More importantly, love acts as a healing force. So many people walk through life burdened by emotional scars, traumas, and regrets. But love, when genuine, had the capacity to heal what is broken. It does not erase the past, but it gives us the courage to face it, learn from it, and move forward with greater resilience. In the arms of love, we find the strength to forgive, to grow, and to believe in ourselves again. Like spring's touch on frozen soil, love awakens dormant dreams and revives parts of us we had long forgotten. This transformative power of love is not confined to individuals. It affects relationships and communities as well. Vanilla still does. Spring breathed life into entire landscapes. Love can breathe new life into broken families, strained friendships, and even societies, fractured by division. And Brendan sees, fractured by division, its capacity to renew extends far beyond one heart. It can change the entire emotional climate of the spaces we inhabit. When love enters our lives, it doesn't just offer comfort, it inspires transformation from within. It challenges us to rise above our insecurities, to see ourselves through the eyes of someone who believes in our potential. Being loved deeply by another can give us the courage to dream bigger and act with greater confidence. Love instills in us a desire to be worthy of the affection we receive, not out of pressure, but out of gratitude and admiration. This gentle encouragement to grow is one of love's most powerful gifts. It nudges us toward kindness, understanding, and humility, all while reminding us that we are capable of more than we imagined. One of the most beautiful effects of love is how it encourages selflessness. In loving someone, we begin to care about their happiness as deeply as our own. We become more patient, more willing to compromise, and more understanding of another's flaws. Love teaches us to listen with empathy rather than judgment, and to prioritize compassion over criticism. This shift from selfishness to selflessness is not forced. It emerges naturally when love is genuine. It is not about losing ourselves in another, but about expanding our hearts to make room for someone else's salvation. Love also helps to cultivate our sense of purpose and responsibility. When we care deeply for someone, we become more aware of our actions and their impact. We try to be more honest, more dependable, and more present. This conscious effort to be better is not about perfection, but about growth and effort. Love holds up a mirror to our character, not to shame us, but to show us how far we can go. In the presence of love, we become more attuned to our inner strengths and more determined to overcome our weaknesses. Furthermore, love has the power to enhance our emotional intelligence. It teaches us to manage our emotions, communicate openly, and resolve conflicts with grace. Through the trials and joys of loving relationships, we gain insight into patience, compromise, and resilience. We learn that being strong doesn't mean never showing vulnerability. It means having the courage to open our hearts despite the risk. In this way, love becomes a lifelong teacher, helping us evolve emotionally, mentally, and spiritually through every connection we hold dear. In a world that often glorifies grand romantic gestures and dramatic declarations, we sometimes overlook the quiet power of love expressed in small, everyday actions. True love is not always found in the sweeping proclamations or lavish surprises. It reveals itself in the gentle rhythm of daily life. It is in the way someone brings you a glass of water without being asked, or checks in on you after a long day. These seemingly simple gestures carry profound emotional weight. They remind us that love is not about impressing someone for a moment, but about being present for them consistently. The essence of love lies in attentiveness, the kind that makes someone remember your favorite meal, notice your silence, or sense your unspoken fears. These moments may not draw attention or receive applause, but they are where the heart of love truly beats. The warmth of someone making time for you in their busy schedule, or the comfort of a shared glance across a crowded room, can mean more than 1,000 words. When we learn to value these quiet instances, we start to recognize that real love isn't always loud. It's thoughtful, subtle, and enduring. Moreover, these small acts of love are what build lasting trust and intimacy. The small consistently shows up for us in minor yet meaningful ways. We feel safe, valued, and understood. 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 We feel safe. We begin to understand that love isn't just about feeling good in the highs, but also about feeling supported in the mundane and the lows. These tiny moments, when accumulated over time, become the love story we hold dearest. We remember the way someone waited for us in the rain, the way they tucked us in when we were tired, or the way they smiled at our worst jokes just to see us happy. These instances don't often make it into poems or movies, but they leave an unforgettable imprint on our hearts. It is through these small, repeated gestures that love reveals its most powerful truth. It thrives not in spectacle, but in presence, care, and quiet constancy. Real love doesn't need constant validation or extravagant displays to prove its existence. Love shows up with steady reliability. It's something that quietly wants expertise, but something that gravitates consistency and diplomacy. It is the consistency that dramas exception. It's the good morning text, the shared silence after a long day, the way someone remembers how you take your coffee. These are not grand, but they are real and they are lasting. Consistency in love means being there, not just when it's convenient, but especially when it's hard. It's about showing up during the ordinary moments and continuing to care even when the excitement fades. This kind of love doesn't depend on mood or novelty. It is built on commitment, responsibility, and emotional reliability. It is easy to love during celebrations and special occasions, but true love remains present in the routine, in the dull days, and even in the disagreement. It proves itself in patience, in forgiveness, and in the quiet reassurance that says, I am here for you, even when nothing else is said. Flashiness can sometimes be mistaken for depth, but it often lacks the endurance that real love requires. Grand romantic gestures may bring temporary joy, but they cannot sustain a relationship. What sustains love is the willingness to invest in it every single day, not for attention or reward, but because it matters. Love is not a performance to impress others. It is a quiet devotion to another person's well-being, happiness, and growth. It shows itself in the loyalty of standing by someone even when things aren't perfect, even when it's not easy. The beauty of consistent love is that it builds a foundation of trust and security over time. When someone loves you with regularity and intention, you no longer have to question their feelings or wonder where you stand. That kind of emotional stability allows love to flourish without fear. It doesn't rely on surprises or elaborate expressions to survive. Instead, it is nurtured by reliability, understanding, and a deep emotional presence that never wavers. There is no changing thing there. There is no trickle and never. In a world that often values spectacle, consistent love might seem quiet, but it is the most powerful kind of all. Love, much like the gradual change of seasons, thrives in an environment of appreciation and patience. Just as we cannot rush spring to bloom before its time, we cannot force love to grow on command. It must be nurtured gently, tended to with care, and allowed to flourish at its own pace. When we truly appreciate the presence of love in our lives, we become more mindful of how we treat it. We begin to see love not as a guarantee, but as a gift, something precious, something that needs time and intention to deepen. Gratitude for love turns even the smallest moments into meaningful experiences. Patience is essential because love isn't always easy. There will be misunderstandings, disagreements, and moments of frustration. But love that is rooted in patience does not abandon ship at the first sign of trouble. Instead, it takes a breath, steps back, and chooses to understand rather than react. It gives the other person space to grow, space to be human, and space to make mistakes. When love is patient, it allows room for healing, learning, and evolving together without the pressure of perfection or the expectation of immediate change. Appreciation is not just about saying thank you, it's about recognizing the emotional efforts someone makes for you, no matter how small. It's about valuing the time, care, and presence they bring into your life. Often we become so accustomed to someone's love that we start to take it for granted, forgetting that nothing in life is owed to us. Love, when consistently appreciated, strengthens the emotional bond between people. It fosters a mutual respect where both individuals feel seen, heard, and valued for who they are, not just what they do. When appreciation and patience are practiced together, love becomes more resilient. It gains the strength to weather emotional storms and the flexibility to bend without breaking. Rather than chasing the highs and fearing the lows, this kind of love embraces the full journey, slow, sometimes imperfect, but profoundly beautiful, just as spring cannot be rushed, but is always worth the wait. Love that is allowed to grow patiently and with gratitude becomes something enduring, something quietly powerful, and something that can stand the test of time. Love, when it flows freely and genuinely, has the power to uplift not just individuals but entire communities. It begins as a personal feeling, a connection between two people, but its effects ripple far beyond that intimate space. When someone is deeply loved, they often become more kind, more giving, and more understanding in their interactions with others. This influence multiplies. A person who feels loved tends to spread that emotional security outward, whether it's in the form of patience with a stranger, generosity to a neighbor, or encouragement to a friend. In this way, love becomes a quiet revolution, transforming lives in the most subtle yet profound ways. This force of love is especially needed in a world often burdened with negativity, fear, and division. Acts of love, be they romantic, familial, platonic, or humanitarian, can heal wounds that policies and laws cannot touch. A word of kindness, a gesture of compassion, or a sincere apology can dismantle years of resentment. Love motivates us to see the humanity in others, even when we don't agree with them. It helps us bridge gaps, resolve conflicts, and stand up for what's right, not out of anger or pride, but out of deep, abiding care for one another. Moreover, love strengthens the moral fabric of society. It encourages empathy, selflessness, and social responsibility. When we operate from love, we become more conscious of the impact of our actions. We think twice before judging, we listen more carefully, and we give more generously. Love becomes a guiding principle in how we live our daily lives. Whether it's through helping someone in need, protecting the vulnerable, or simply choosing kindness over cruelty, It's not just a feeling, but a force that steers us toward a better, more humane version of ourselves and our world. Ultimately, love is the most accessible and powerful catalyst for change. It doesn't require status, wealth, or fame to be shared. It only requires intention, presence, and sincerity. Anyone can love, and in doing so, anyone can contribute to healing a broken world. Just as a spring breeze refreshes everything it touches, so does love breathe life into weary souls and tired hearts. Its goodness is not measured in grand scale movements, but in countless small actions that, when added together, have the potential to reshape lives and entire societies. So let us never underestimate the quiet, enduring, and transformative power of love. Like the spring breeze, it may arrive softly, but it carries with it the strength to awaken, to heal, and to renew. In a world that often feels rushed and disconnected, choosing to love with gentleness, consistency, patience, and sincerity is one of the most courageous acts we can perform. Let us be the breeze in someone's life, subtle yet strong, calm yet life-giving. And in doing so, may we leave behind not just memories, but a legacy. Your light and compassion, let us help you to change ethnicity and speak